I want to turn our attention to our nation's capital, check in on the $111 million question that Bradley Beal is facing. So the Wizards held media day this week. Beal was asked a few times why he hasn't signed that max contract extension Washington offered the very second that they were allowed to this past summer. Beal has still until October 21st to accept or reject the offer, and here is what Beal told Fred Katz of The Athletic, quote, "I can really retire today and be okay. So I want everyone to understand it's not the money. It's not the money factor here. It's me. It's okay. What's the direction the team is going in? Are we going to win? Is this what we want?" Scottie, do you understand why Beal is reluctant to commit for the long term, or would you sign it if it was in front of you? Well,
I think he hasn't achieved any success there from a team standpoint, so I think he wants to keep his options open. If you're winning, yeah, it's an easy deal to jump on, but they haven't had any success there, and the road doesn't look too promising going forward. So I understand his reason for holding back, and there's also opportunities for him to sign a bigger deal going forward. So, as long as he's healthy, he can control his own destiny, and that's the important thing, and that's the risk that our players take is going forward. So I think his career has been steady. He had a great season last year, and I'm sure he's looking forward to an even stronger season this year. So I think it's fair for him to probably hold out and maybe, see what his options are. But you asked the question, if it was me,
yeah,
I'll go ahead and sign.
You're like, 111, I could do that.
Isn't it always about the money in this league? Always, one way or another. And to Scottie's point, you can roll the dice, but that's a $111 million dice roll. If all that money's sitting in front of me and I'm Beal, I take the money, and if you really want out in a year, recent history suggests in the NBA that all you have to do is pick up the phone or send out some tweets and you can get out of there.
Right.
So take the money that's in front of you and play for the future. So I'm not buying that, oh, well, the Wizards aren't any good and we haven't been good, so I'm not taking it. You take it and you see what happens down the line.
Well, the health factor is real, right? Because we've seen Boogie Cousins, we've seen Isaiah Thomas. They had big paydays they thought in front of them, and for one reason or another had an injury, and then boom, doesn't materialize for them. I get that, and that is a risk. And look, he says, though, hey, I have enough money now that I feel comfortable taking that risk. If he does wait even one more year, and let's say he doesn't qualify for the Supermax, let's just say a regular contract, the contract he's eligible for, as Scottie pointed out, next summer is bigger, right? So he could get an additional year, an additional $43 million on top of that $111 if he waits just till the summer. I also think that Bradley Beal is going to be the most attractive candidate to be traded right before the February deadline. There are so many teams that are starting training camp this year with very high expectations. Their fan base has high expectations. They mortgaged draft picks and a bunch of their future to do well this year. Not every single one of those teams is going to be going well in the beginning of February. That trade deadline comes around. A lot of people are calling the Wizards about Bradley Beal.
But I'd say this, and Draymond Green just mentioned this at Warriors Media Day the other day. He said one of the reasons he committed to his deal 4 years for $100 million is because it messes with your mind.
Yeah.
And when you talk to guys who play it out and roll the dice on their future, it messes with you the whole year until you sign your name on the dotted line. So I understand business-wise why it might make sense to wait it out and see how much more money you can get, but I'm with Scottie. If you put $111 million in front of me, you sign it, and then you see what happens with your future on another team.
I mean, he's still a fairly young player in the league, so if anything happened to him going forward, he's still got more time to make it up. But you never really make that money up, but hey, it's a gamble he wants to take.
Absolutely. All right, so note also to producer Danny and producer Steve, if you want to put $111 in front of Nick, he will sign it.
Give it to me right now.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.